Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Creative Journey. My name is Kevin Gregg.
I'm Paul Carganilla.
Welcome to the show that is designed to help you get your creative work done. Whether you're a singer, writer, dancer, producer, director, what else could they be, Paul?
Podiatrist, master marijuana extractor,
Okay.
clinical ethicist.
Okay.
And then for some reason, these are on the list of strange jobs. Voiceover artist.
Why is it on the list of strange jobs?
I don't know.
Wait, what was the last one you said?
Toy maker. Maybe it's just like wow, people actually get paid to make toys and to make voiceovers, I guess. But maybe that's why it's on the list. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Periodontist.
That's interesting. But here's the thing. No matter what it is that you do, right? This is our entire point, is that you can bring creativity to any of your positions, right? And this is the show to help you get it done. I'm so happy to be back again. It's our 51st episode. We celebrated our 50th episode a couple of weeks ago, which is amazing. We have great guests that are on the show. And as a matter of fact, we have a returning guest that's here with us today. She is an author. She's a creative coach. She's written a whole bunch of, I guess we'll call them, they're middle grade books, which she'll explain to us in a second.
That's not very nice.
Well, it is. It is good.
Excellent. They're excellent books.
They're excellent books. Welcome back to the show, Dana Middleton.
Yay.
Hi.
Yay. Hi, everybody. Hi. That's what I was expecting. Thank you very much.
Got to tell them.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Kevin.
Hi. We're so glad to have you here. Paul, you got that thing dialed in, man, every week. I wish I could do it like that. Dana, hi, welcome back. As always, when we have our guests visiting us, I didn't prepare you for this, but I'm going to ask it to you right now. What was the best thing that happened to you this week, Dana?
Oh, wow. This.
I know.
No. I'll tell you one thing that happened that was great, even though I did tell you right before we got on that I had an epic fail of a writing day. I did read a friend of mine's book that was terrific. And it's really fun to read I've never read hers before. I'm in a writing kind of group with her. And it was just like such a lovely surprise. I mean, not that I didn't expect for it to be good, but it just hit me right on all the right levels. And I felt just thrilled to finish it.
It's so nice to have that experience with a book, right? When you just kind of
go, and it doesn't happen that often. So it was just beautiful.
I'm telling you, man, when you have that moment and you're just feeling down, listen, I've talked about it before in the show. My go-to comfort food is like the Lord of the Rings. I will go to that, whether it's and it's always an audiobook version for me, right? Like I'm always listening to that. Or oddly enough, I found a new series that I've been following for the last couple of years, which is by Michael J. Sullivan. It's just sort of like this high fantasy thing. It's weird. It's like a thing that you just always go to and you go, oh, that feels good. That's nice. So I'm glad you had that experience.
It was nice. That was a nice thing. It's been a nice week, but that was a nice, unexpected highlight.
That's awesome. Paul, do you have your favorite comfort book that you like to go for?
I am the kind of person who, this sounds like a total cop out, but it's 100% true. I can fall asleep like this anywhere, anytime. And if I start reading a book, I'm out. It's been like my whole life. It's been like that. Like I have to be so jazzed up and on caffeine to read. Really? And so unfortunately I don't get those. It's like part of life that is my curse, that I don't get to enjoy those things.
That's okay. How do you do with like Kindle books and stuff like that? Does that help a little bit more or no?
Actually, yeah, I do listen to a lot of audiobooks and podcasts and
sure.
But I just can't curl up with a good book to relax because I'm just out.
Dana,
I don't think that's a bad problem to have. Sleep is good.
Of course it is.
Clearly,
Dana, what's your favorite format? I'm guessing is it just like the hard tactile books, or is it like?
I am such a Kindle girl, and I really, you know what? I never thought I would say that because I always liked holding a book, and I thought that. But you know what? I can prop up my Kindle in bed, just ding, ding. don't have to hold a book. And you know what? And I really don't, I prefer, I buy books. So I buy books from my independent bookstores and all that kind of stuff. But I do enjoy the very convenience of saying, oh, I want to try a book at midnight. Oh, let's go find it. It is so convenient. It's the evil empire.
Well,
has got me. It's true.
Here's the thing that I've heard of it. Now we're going to get very specific. Is it the Paperwhite Kindle, or is it like the Fire backlit?
Oh, Paperwhite. I can't. Oh, backlit. I'm talking about, I would never sleep. I would never sleep again if I had the backlit thing. No.
There's something about that Paperwhite stuff that I like people that dial that in. I know that there's like another tablet that's out there that does it, but here's something I've heard. If you truly love an author, and maybe this is how I'm going to plug you tonight too, but seriously, here's the deal. If you truly love an author, and I have done this, get all formats of it.
I do with authors I really love. I have the books and I have the ebooks. And you know what I think? Can we, if just in case Jeff Bezos or anybody from Barnes and Noble with the Nook are listening, just in case, I think if you buy one, especially if you buy a hardcover, you should get the ebook for like $1.
I agree.
To me is just a no-brainer. I don't understand that at all.
Movies were doing that for a while. If you got the Blu-ray, it came with a code where you would also get the digital version. Yeah,
they totally did that. That was like when they were doing like the HD and like the really, the high definition Blu-ray things. It was that. It was like, hey, you're getting it in all formats. I don't have a problem with that. I think that would be amazing. What a fantastic way to be able to support an author, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I dig it. Dana, you're here. We're talking about you've got a new book that's about to come out, and I'm putting this out there to the listenership that's here. First of all, we have to say hi to all of the folks that are here. Here goes the old Kevin putting on the glasses, and I'm sure Paul's going to grab his in a moment. That's what he always does.
You old folks.
You old
folks. Of us who don't need those glasses.
I've got to give the big shout outs to Angelica Merrill. So glad to have you here. Charity is here. I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to blow this. Dana, this was something special that I wanted to share with you tonight, was that, I put this out there earlier to let people know. I've got to give a big shout out. Kelsey, who's a big fan of the show. I'm going to read this directly to you. Let's see. Kelsey said this. Kelsey's been working and she loves to look at this. What are you drinking? Hold on a second. Paul, what's the big thing that you're drinking right now? What is this?
Tea.
That's a huge, what is that, like a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Yes, that's exactly what it is, Kevin.
Is it really? Yes.
Yeah.
Nerd.
Paul, for those of you that are listening on the audio podcast, this probably started like, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. I can't see worth crap when I'm on this stuff. So I have to put up my readers. And all of a sudden I started looking down the corner. Every time I put on my glasses, Paul would start putting on the glasses. What are you going to do? Here we go.
Be cool like you.
Well, come on. Kelsey, who's a friend of the show. Here's what we're doing during the show tonight. At some point tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be giving out a free copy of Dana's new book, Not a Unicorn. We're probably going to have a little contest. But Dana, you'll love to hear this. Kelsey, who's a friend of the show, she wrote me early and said, I'm super bummed I can't be in the live chat for your creative journey tonight. I have to go to work. I'm so excited that Dana is back. I have the book she talked about last time when she was on. She's definitely looking forward. Kelsey says, I'm definitely looking forward to her new book. Though I'm not able to be in the chat, don't worry. I'll listen to the replay when I get off. So I just want to give a big shout out to Kelsey because she wanted to be here tonight, but she digs your books.
Hey, so, Kelsey.
There you go. So what we are doing tonight is at some point, we're going to have a little contest. We'll probably make it up. Oh, wait a minute. Lori, our good friend Lori is on here. Lori Berzon is on here. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Lori.
So happy to see my favorite people chatting it up. Love you, Lori, dearly. Miss you. Say hi to Kevin as well. Her Kevin, not me. So here's the deal. Dana, you have this new book. We had you on a year ago. Let's talk about a couple of things. As much as you can you tell us what this new book is? Let's talk about what are middle school books, middle grade school books?
Middle grade is basically, okay, Paul, listening?
You're listening now.
Now he's listening.
You listening
Good.
now?
Good, because Kevin stopped talking. So now
It's for kids ages 8 to 12. And this particular book, they're called middle grade. I don't think they were always, they should just be called kids books.
Mhm.
Children's literature.
and they were never called young adult novels, because that was a totally different genre.
Yeah, young adult is, which a lot of people call middle grade books young adult, but young adults really are teenagers.
Right.
And they say bad words, and they, have all kinds of things that you don't have in middle grade.
You get into some of like Judy Blume's younger work, like Fudge or any of that other stuff. That's
all middle grade. I don't think they called it middle grade then, but but she, like Forever that she wrote is
young
YA.
adult. Yes.
YA.
That's
so
correct.
It's kind of just, you have earlier readers or chapter books, middle grade books, YA books.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Then NA, new adult books.
Hold on a second. New adult. What does this mean?
This is something for
I've never heard of this before.
people 18 to 24, 5, I don't know, something like that. Is that right, Paul?
I was gonna say they get crystals and burn incense and talk about chakras. That's the new
They might do that too. And then
I don't know, it's like a transformational thing. It's like something, are they like preparing us for when the aliens are going to visit, right? Like, welcome, you are now a new adult on the planet Earth. Congratulations, right?
Congratulations, exactly. You get your NA card.
Dana, this must be because you got into this several years ago. How long have you been writing for this particular audience?
You know what? Like, looking back, probably to start with, about 18 years ago, I wrote my first book, Lindo's Light, which is still in a drawer, but that was the first book I wrote. And then I had a kind of a space between, and then I wrote The Infinity Year of Avalon, James, which I wrote, I don't know, like 8-9 years ago. And so publishing is a long game. You write something and it takes, you hope that, the whatever gods are looking down on you in a favorable way, and that you sell it and that it happens. But then once you sell something, it can take 2 years, often, sometimes more, to get into the world. So it is a long game.
What was the thing that, I'm sure that we're revisiting some of the stuff that we talked about before, but to me, it's incredibly interesting. And I know to our listeners that are also creatives doing this, what got you sparked particularly to say, I'm not only am I going to do this, not only going to write these stories for this age group, but then I'm going to like actively pursue, like, I want this out in the world in a bigger way. Like, what the heck was the catalyst for you?
I think the big catalyst was getting older and going, like, if not now, when? Sure. You know what I mean? You start hitting certain birthdays and you go, oh, wait, what, let's, I think there were several things for me that it was just like, I really wanted to be able to put my stuff out there, obviously. But for a long time, I put stuff out there and I didn't get any response. And I know a lot of creative people feel that way. You put your stuff out there, your screenplays, your writing, your books, your whatever, and you just dead air, which happened to me for a long time. And you start to get really disappointed and like, well, is this going to work? And you start to question everything and whatever. And so for me, it really was a matter of, I think, I do this thing called tapping, Kevin.
Yeah, fine. Explain that to the people that are here with EFT and all this stuff.
Yeah, as a creative coach, I work with creative people, but that came around because I kind of was working on myself. And the idea of when you tap on meridian points on your body, which is EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping, it helps. It's like acupressure, acupuncture points. When you're tapping on these points, you're releasing stuck energy. And I will say this. I've actually done sessions with Dana while in the middle of a session, like literally cracked something open for me and just like sobbing and waves of relief and all that stuff, right? Which is like, there's something that happens with this physical stuff. As a matter of fact, we have somebody that works with us with our son Duncan with autism. When he's feeling like tense and all this stuff, she literally takes him through these things of hitting these different points that are on you, saying these different sentences to kind of unpack. And there's this connection that happens with the physical and the mind at the same time. It's fascinating, and it's freeing, and it's insightful at the same time. And it's just, again, it's another tool in the toolbox. That's what I say. yeah, there's so many tools. And for me, it was a tool that worked. And Lori, who's watching, knows a lot about, was there when I was learning all this stuff and really was helpful. So, and I think a lot of that helped me to kind of release some of we all have certain blocks we accrue over time as creative people. And it helped me to kind of offload some of that stuff. So I was, I think, more aligned, so to speak, to allow myself to be in the world in a bigger way. Thus, thealignedartist.com, which is what I do. And that's my other gig. That's my side. That's my side gig.
Yeah. Well, and then during this process, this was the thing that sort of like unlocked for you and said, I've got to do, like, I'm doing this, like I'm doing this writing. I'm putting this out there and I'm going for it. Right. There's something that you said there, Dana, that's so insightful for me. And it's definitely a thing for any creatives that are watching this. Like, it's not like it goes away. It's like all of a sudden, it's not like your desire to create stuff and put stuff out in the world. Like all of a sudden you hit a certain age and go, well, that's it. Now I'm done. It's all finished. It's like, no, you start to learn to evolve and change and go. And I'm so grateful. I was just having this conversation with some friends of mine the other day. I did a ton of acting in my life, right? Did a ton of acting in my life, commercial acting and acting at Disneyland. And, something really changed for me, especially over the last several years where I went, yeah, I don't think I need that anymore. It was this weird thing of like, it's not like I can't do it, but it was like this evolve. It's almost like I went, you know what it is? It's almost like I said, thank you. Thank you, God, for that gift and for what that season was, because without that, I wouldn't be able to get to what this is now, to what I'm doing now, to be able to be up and listen. I had it with, I've been going back out and doing some more presentations for schools and other stuff like that. And believe me, I still get some of my stage fright when I'm there and just kind of going back to my old stuff and just going, breathe, relax, be in this moment. Let's just do this. Or even when I'm doing like live presentations, I was doing live presentations of pitch for a company the other day. And I just like the flop sweat just hit like nobody's business.
I can't believe that, because you are so effortless when I'm performing. I always look at you and I think, oh, wow, that's why I'm not an actor. Cause look at Kevin.
Dana, you know what I mean? Dana, I'm flop sweating right now. I'm not kidding. But it's that moment of it was just that moment of just, especially when I look back at the time that I had as a performer and actor. And that's not to say that that's done in my life, but it is this moment of just going, oh, thank you for what that was for now, because I needed that so that I could get to this moment and continue on, Yep. And so I think that.
Paul, did Kevin ever tell you about the play we were in together?
When you had a crazy fever and he kissed you against the fridge?
Yes. Did we talk about that last time? Yes. And he got me terribly sick. And his wife, Kate, who is my writing partner, said, no, open your mouths more. That's what I remember more than anything.
So I did a short film and my wife was the director. And there was a scene where I kissed another gal, and like we had to do several takes because my wife was like, I don't believe it. Like, you gotta get it. Get in there. That was exactly what she was saying on set. Well, it was not awkward at all.
Well, you do what your director tells you.
You do what your director tells you.
Not weird at all.
Do what your director tells you to do. It's good stuff. Dana, how we were just talking about it before we came on. We talked about it a little bit here at the beginning. These challenges, man, these times when you hit these hiccups, right? As you're trying to write or as you're trying to get stuff done. I mean, obviously you had a little example today where you went, hold on a second. I need to bail out of this and I need to like read somebody else's work and just get myself filled. How do you keep showing up, right? How do you keep showing up? What keeps you going as you write?
Fear of not getting it done. Fear, you know what I mean? Partially, not really fear, but a little bit fear. It really is, Pete, my husband, who's been on the show. He says, he doesn't like writing as much as he likes having written. And I think for a lot of us, that's the case. Sometimes I absolutely love writing, don't get me wrong, but some days it is just terrible to get to it. And I talk to people all the time about consistency, and I still have days where I talk about being a farmer. This is a big thing for me with people I talk to about this idea that when you are creating, it's sometimes exciting, but it's mostly like being a farmer. You just get up and you plow your fields, your rows, and that's it. That's what you do. And that's what all you're supposed to do. And then things will grow and it will all work out. But some days it is really challenging. And today has been challenging. The past couple of days have been. And I think that sometimes it's also things are kind of gelling, and then you'll burst out of that. And the next few days will be a lot easier. I just think every day is like, why is it so? It's we talked about Stephen Pressfield, I think, before too. Why do we have this resistance to doing the thing we actually really love, and it's the most important, and we still have resistance to getting to it, no matter how much and how long we've done it?
Several months ago, we had on John Sovic, who's a therapist, a personal therapist and family therapist as well. And he really talked about this moment of just like really being in the moment and just saying, this is just what this is in this moment. I'm just in this moment. And I love that exercise that he talked about. It's like sometimes we get so overwhelmed with everything. And he does this exercise where he goes like, take a look around the room and just like, what's that? That's a lamp. That's a picture on the wall. That's a ball over there. That's a dresser, whatever it is. Just this moment of just being centered in the moment and just realizing where you are. And I think that sometimes, and I have to do this too. Listen, Dana, I had a little bit of this today too. I was doing some script writing on some presentation things I was doing. And there's some of it was just kind of like, it was a chore. It was a chore showing up because part of it just like, and again, going back to the old thing. All right, I'm just going to do this for the next 3 minutes. That's all I'm going to do.
I know. And that's what I should have done today. I should have done the Kevin Gregg rule of just like set the timer for 6 minutes. And I didn't. And it was, but I also know if I don't do it first early, if I don't do it, if I haven't done the majority of my writing before lunch, it's the day is not going to go my way. It's just not.
Can I tell you though, that I think that we have to take these moments where we also, I'm going to say this right now, Dana. I need you to tap with me.
Okay. Okay. Let's go. So, Paul, you ready?
But here's the thing, Dana. We need these moments where we take a moment and we recognize the stuff that we have accomplished. Right? We have to take that moment because, and I'm gonna sing your praises for a moment. So deal with it. But here is Dana, who is an absolute magnificent writer, right? Here she is writing these middle grade books, but I'll tell you, they cross all age ranges because I have read, Dana captures this so well. She captures the experience of the young girl or like the junior high type girl, and she grabs those emotions so well. I remember reading that in The Infinity Year of Avalon James, and also in Open If You Dare, like these moments of just like, even, here I'm a 49-year-old man and I'm reading these books. And I remember just like starting to cry during some of these things because I remember them. Not as a junior high school girl, but being in that range of just being so like hurt or broken or dealing with something that just felt so much, and how you express that, right? And so here is this thing, this gift and this talent that you've been given, and that you're able to express that to other people that are able to go, I felt that too, right? I felt that too. And what an incredible gift that you've given to the world with your books, and that you will continue to do. And yes, resistance, Satan, whatever it is trying to work overtime on you right now and say, stop. What's the point? Forget about it. Give up. Come on. Who cares? And
that's every day. Isn't that every day? Every day is that little, like, whatever it is. It's just like, and some days it's just it's a whisper, just a tiny whisper. And some days it's just like, what are you thinking? And when does that go away? Somebody tell me.
And yet, but here's the thing. I have to tell you this. Thank God for that voice, because that voice, you know what that voice is also telling you? You're on the right path. And I don't want you to be on that path right now. What that voice is telling you is to go, you're doing something that I don't want you to be doing, or whatever this is, right? This is what this resistance does. Like, this resistance literally just says, stop, stop, stop. What are you doing? Stop, 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 stop. And when you're hearing that, it's like you want to go, because honestly, man, this is a thing that's happened for me. I don't know if it's happened for either of you guys. And please share on this if you have. I'd love to hear if Paul's experienced this as well. There is something that happens for me when somebody tells me I can't do something. There's a little bit of my Irish gets up, where a little bit of me goes just like, no, no, I'm not going to comply, right?
Right.
I'm not going to comply with that, particularly when it deals with things that I've got the skills or the abilities to do, and somebody's just going, come on, what are you doing? What are you doing? And there's something that pops up inside of me that goes, F you, I'm going to do this anyway. You know, I mean, Paul, you come on, buddy. I know you've had this. I know you've had some version of this experience.
So many times and so many things in it. A lot of it, like, even kind of connects to what you were talking about earlier. We've talked about on the show how, like, I never thought I would be where I am in my life, in the career that I'm sitting in, but I feel like everything that's happened has led me to this moment, and I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be in some crazy purpose-driven way. But every step of the way, you're getting nagged by that. Wait, what direction do you think you're going? No. Just stop. Like, you feel like the little voice tells me, like, you're feeling a little bit scared because you're not supposed to go that way. And it takes that decision inside you to say, F you, little voice. Yes, I'm going to try it anyway. And it's just that constant stretching of the comfort bubble. It's the constant, like, following your heart's fire while at the same time pushing yourself and just not refusing to be comfortable, really. And it's scary. And, sometimes, some days, all you want to do is sit on the couch and read a book or watch TV or watch movies. But, like, time's ticking, and we're here for a reason. And if if you feel that fire inside to live out whatever purpose that is, you got to let it burn.
Amen, man.
I think, what you said, really, the determination, I think, is a really big part of it. I think that you have to, like, being determined is, I mean, there's no other way, really. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean, I don't mean that you have to be out there pounding the pavement every day and every second, or being busy and being, doing a million things at once. I don't mean that at all. I really mean kind of an internal determined, there's this kind of state of being that I think is really, really important, because nobody gives a crap about your creativity or your creative career, frankly.
No.
They don't care. Nobody cares if you finish a book. Nobody cares, because Paul, they don't. They do once they're impacted by it.
Right.
But they don't care. But if you're working on something, it's like, okay, great, work on it. If you never finish it, who cares? But you have to be the one willing to see it through, and to find it important enough to see it through, so that others can value it. But I think we have to have that really strong self-value first, that wanes on some days.
I'm gonna have to tell you, man, this stuff that you guys are talking about, I mean, this is life 101, gang. This is life 101 for any of those people that are listening to this right now, because yes, we're talking about creative stuff right now. I guarantee you, I know that this ports over to every single area of your life. It does. The stuff that we're doing creatively here, guess what? It's us exercising stuff that we have to do in our life. Immediately, I think about Duncan. My son, with his autism, with the fact of, like, I'm going to be blunt here, but there's been many times when he's gone through his stuff where, as much as people just kind of like, yes, we care for your son, they kind of really don't in the end, right? It's like people get so overwhelmed in the system, right? It's like you're just one of a whole bunch of people. And I remember having this moment. So I'm going to go off on a tangent with this, but I remember having this moment when he was 9 years old, and we're sitting down in one of these meetings with teachers and administrators and all this stuff. And they just say, yeah, it looks like he's reached what he can do. He reached kind of what he can do. And the ability for him, that window is really closing, and we don't think that we can move farther than this. And something went off in the back of my mind. And I said,
oh,
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. And it was the moment where I looked at, God bless them, the school and everybody that's there. They're trying to do everything that they can within their power, resources, bureaucracy, whatever that stuff is. But there was a part of me saying, I don't buy it. And I started like paying out of pocket for a speech therapist to just go, let's figure this out. And the stuff that ended up opening up because we did that, right? And even the stuff that you guys are talking about, like showing up and the consistency and doing this stuff every day, we do this in our relationships, in our marriages, in our families, right? How easy is it, man, when we've got to go and we got to pound the pavement or do the stuff in order to make sure that we're putting, paying for the rent or paying for the food or whatever. Guess what? There's days I don't want to do it, right? But I got to, because I'm looking at what the long game is. And the fact is that there's nobody there like going, come on. Yeah, I mean, you have it within the family, but it's not like all of a sudden I've got an external cheering section. When I open the window, they're going, you can do it. No, right? I mean, for me personally, it's about like checking in with God and doing my daily stuff and going, I can't do this without you, right? But the fact is, Dana, you got it right. It's like on the outside of it, it's like you have to find out what that source is to drive you and to keep you going, right? Because if you don't find that, man, like it literally, you got to show, because the tendency is you'll just start to go, that's okay, and you just kind of throw your hands in the air.
Well, I do have an external accountability situation now.
Okay.
Called Kate Mclaughlin.
This is my wife. She just mentioned.
Because Kate and I just finished a book together, which we used to write screenplays. This is why we wrote a kid's screenplay, and that kind of, and when I thought, kids, what's, that's really what spurred me into this other thing. And but we have never written a book before together until this past book, and we're writing the sequel to it right now. But that's kind of been fun to have somebody, in this with me, because the past few books I've done have been by myself. Yeah. So it's different, but that's helpful.
Let's do this. Let's talk about Not a Unicorn. What is it? What can you tell us about the story? Here it is. Look at this. First of all,
can I just say what a beautiful book it is?
It's gorgeous. Get that right up there. Get that right up there.
Look at that. Look at that.
Not a unicorn. Not a unicorn.
So pretty. And it's heavy. Like it's a heavy book. It's
heavy, man. It's heavy.
It's heavy. It's a chronicle heavy book. It's beautiful. And the inside's so pretty. I'll just show you the inside because I'm so happy.
Okay, why not? Look at that. Oh my gosh. Hold it. Get that up closer. Dana.
I got to show you how cool this is. This is really cool. So here's the unicorn girl right here.
Oh my gosh. That's gorgeous.
So anyway, it's a story of Jewel Conrad, who is an 8th grader. And she, I remember when I told my mom, and I was so nervous about this. This was like 4 years ago. I said, Mom, I'm writing. I said, I can't even say it now. I was like, I've got to tell you about my next book. Okay, what is it, Dana? She was in her kitchen. I said, well, it's about a girl with a unicorn horn on her head. And this is literally what she did. She went, oh, Dana. Now I will say my mother loves this book and she is a big fan of Jewel, but it really was weird because I think the reason, why do you write a book about a girl with a horn on her head?
Yeah. There's
no answer to that question. Like, because there's no way you can explain that. That's unexplainable. She just came and then like squatted, and she would just, and I thought, okay, this is too weird. I tried to think of other things, and then she's like, I'm here, this is what you're doing. And it was really it was certainly the most challenging thing I've ever written. And it took the longest. And I had an agent who I thought I'd be with forever, who we did not agree on the concept. I ended up leaving and having to get a new agent and everything changed. This book required me to believe so much and double down, because I realized I had to write what was in my heart, not what somebody else would have rather me write, which looking back was so stupid, because this did not, I'm like, how did this work? Because really, how did this work? I mean, there's something, I go, whatever. I'm very grateful because it's, you think that you just get one thing published and it's going to be fine. And you have one deal. The next deal is really important if this is what you want your livelihood to be. And so it was really a complicated period where I had to believe so much in this story for it to see the light of day. And I feel like I had angels along the way helping for sure, but it has. So but it wasn't easy and it wasn't linear. I'm not saying that things need to be hard, by the way. Right. I do not think that this has to be that hard.
Sure.
This was, though, a more challenging path than I hope the next thing is. Let's put it that way.
Can I ask you this? We'll talk a little bit, maybe a little bit more about the story in a second. But what do you think, looking back on this now, what do you think is like what's the biggest lesson that you have learned from working on this book? What do you think it was meant to teach you? Because I know that sometimes, believe me, I've had challenging experiences that I've looked back on and I've gone, you know what? Again, so grateful that I went through that, because I've also learned things that I do want and I don't want in the future, right? Like things like that. Is there something that pops out to you that goes, oh, when I look at that book now, here are my big takeaways for myself that you feel comfortable sharing here on the show?
Well, I think that exactly is going, believe, like sticking to what I knew I had to do next. Now, I was lucky that it found a place to be, right? But that I was able to follow that and do that. But I also think if I had taken the other road, and God bless, listen, I'm only grateful to the agent before. But if I had written that book, that I think she would have preferred me write, it would have failed.
Yes.
It would have failed. I know that in my heart, it would have failed because it was not the book. It was not the book in my heart.
Dana, I have had this over the last several years. This has been a learning thing for me. It's really challenging, particularly with creatives, especially when you start bringing money into the mix, right?
Oh,
because something happens, man. I'm only going to speak to me. That's all I can do in this situation. If either of you have felt this, then please chime in. But there's something that happens at times when you actually start getting paid for this stuff that you kind of go, there's definitely times where you go, I can't believe that people are paying me for this, right? At times sometimes you have imposter syndrome that pops up that just kind of like goes, uh-oh, they're going to find out that I really don't know what the heck I'm doing, right?
For sure.
And then I've talked about it so many times on the show. I battle chronic people pleasing, right? Codependency and people pleasing issues, right? Where it's just like, yeah, sure, you bet, yeah. Mm-hmm. And over the last couple of years, I've really realized I'm very upfront with clients that I work with now to go, I'm going to be completely honest with you as we go through the process, right? Because if I start saying yes to something that I don't want to do or I don't believe in, and I'm just doing it to make you happy and to placate you, that's only going to last so long. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to get so exhausted with trying to just do the yeah. And what's going to happen is I can't keep that going and I'm going to get resentful. And because I've been doing the yeah, smiling yes guy thing the entire time, when I finally lose my crap and I finally tell you I'm out, I'm done, and you're going to freak out and go, whoa, what's the matter here? Right? It's not helping anybody. Right. And I've had
I also have to say a really good lesson with that particular thing of being able to leave that relationship with an agent. And I don't really talk. I actually want to talk about. I don't talk about this very often because I have so much respect and gratitude for that agent, and I wish her only well. So, but I say this for people really, hopefully, to be, I don't know, just like a story. If you're in this kind of situation, because oftentimes we want to please gatekeepers. And sometimes we really need to listen to them. Sometimes we need to listen. And sometimes we don't. And it's really a hard call sometimes of knowing which person to be and which battle to fight. And I will say, had I been younger and that had happened to me, I probably would have wasted a lot more time because I would have written what she wanted me to write, and then I would have failed, and then I would have had to then I would have regrouped and gone, but I didn't do that because I don't have as much time anymore.
Good for you.
I don't have because I don't
I'm
have as
telling
much
you,
time
man.
anymore. Doesn't that sound like it? Oh, like let me get my. But I
No.
mean, seriously, as you know what I mean. I don't mean to like drive that into the ground,
Yeah.
but time is precious, and we can't. We have to pay attention to that a little bit.
It's a strange thing to navigate, right? It's a strange. I have had these situations. I have to get very non-specific with this right now, but I've had these situations. Gatekeepers are very interesting people to navigate. I have had some situations with gatekeepers where I go, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like I've had people that have been so wonderful and kind, and I'll tell you a couple of people right now. For me, it's Chris Utley, who we've had on the show. He's been a wonderful person who I would put in that category of like, without him, there were certain things that wouldn't have happened for me. I'll tell you another guy that worked on one my Dodge commercials all these years ago. The director on that thing, Larry August, I still remember his name. Without him, he was the guy that looked at me and said, we're using this guy. We're going to use this guy for like nine commercials like that. I remember running into him at a Vegas cinema. It was like a cinema thing. What the heck do they call it? NAB, National Association. What'd you say?
Skin flicks? Can't believe you're admitting this on pod. Oh. What cinema?
National Association of Broadcasters. It's a huge conference that they have in Vegas. But I ran into him like 15 years later and I said, I want to thank you, man. Like without doing that stuff was amazing. And then I have had people, I'm going to tell you guys, I have had people that I have sat in rooms and the hairs on the back of my neck have gone up and I have thought, I'm in the room with Satan right now. Like I have had moments where I have like, I'm not kidding you, man. I've had a couple of people over the years where I've like looked and I've gotten that weird, oh, there's something's not right here. Like something's wrong with this person. And I got to get out of this room as soon as I can. So I've had a couple of those and it's weird, right? Because you feel like you have these other people where you have these things that are just, they're like huge blessings that come in your life. And then you have these other people where you go, oh, if I cross you, will I never work again? Well,
right. It's fear, right? We've all been there. We think we need to please that person to be able to get to that next stage or to be able to get that part or be able to sell that book or whatever it is. And yeah, I mean, it makes sure it's scary.
And if you've never felt that, you are that person.
You're the Michael Scott of your office, right? You're the that's the thing that always happened with the American Office. People would say, well, I don't know anybody that's like Michael Scott. If you don't know anybody that's like Steve Carell's character Michael Scott, the thing was like, you're Michael Scott. I don't see what the problem is with the show, right? Dana, what would you say is what's the I'm sorry, I'm throwing this one at you. What would you say is the theme of Not a Unicorn, or what's sort of what's the general thing about not the story?
The theme of every book that I will ever write, probably, which is friendship and belonging. And that's what it's really about belonging, because she does have a horn on her head and she wants more than anything to be normal.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, think about it. Like we're, and there are reasons why it's so I kind of, I think one of the things I'll end up talking about in classrooms and things is, what is your unicorn horn? Meaning we all have something, especially when we're in middle school, that we would if we could just change that, if I could just change that, I would be okay. I would belong. I would feel like everybody else. Isn't that, you know what I mean? We all have that.
Dana, I'm remembering this, man. When I was like 12 or 13, when I was right at this girl's age, I remember, man, I was at St. Ambrose School in West Hollywood. And I just remember, I just wanted to be cool. I just wanted to be cool. There was a guy that I wanted to be Michael J. Fox so bad. I wanted to be Michael J. Fox, Back to the Future, Family Ties, all of that. Right. And yet there was another guy that was in my class who came from a little bit of a wealthier family. And he always had like the cool haircuts and the cool clothes. And he had the latest sneakers and the coolest shirts and all this stuff. And I remember, and I always seemed to gravitate towards, the misfits, right? Like I felt like something out of a Stephen King book, right? Like a group of like a group of misfits I'd hang around. But I remember I drew this picture when I was 13, And it was this feeling of like all of the cool kids were having all this fun in this big party. And oddly enough, looking at it, it looked like a riot with a whole bunch of people fighting. And then I was trying to be a part of that, but I was on the edge of a cliff and I drew all of these nerdy long hands that were trying to pull me over the edge of this cliff. And it was
you see, maybe those were the people you really belonged with. That's part of this too, is like, who really do you belong with? Yeah. Who really are your friends?
And you never escaped the nerd hands.
That's correct. And thank God I never escaped them.
You didn't.
Because then how else would I have met you, Paul? How else would I have met
or known what kind of cup this is?
That's right. I'm about to say, Kevin, you always knew who you were. You just were denying. You were just
sorry, guys. I'm just embracing it. That's what this is, you know.
But
amazing.
That's what it is. I mean, it's really about belonging, and it's a story about, you know, for those of you, well, I won't say that, but it's a journey. It's a journey about belonging, and with some fantasy, not high fantasy, not your kind of nerd fantasy.
Hey, back off. All right.
But like,
what is this? What is this?
It's a contemporary story set in a real. Like it's a real girl in a real town with
a real unicorn horn.
With a real unicorn horn, Kevin. Don't F with me.
Now, I went online to order this for my daughter, and it says it's not out until September 21st.
It's coming.
And it also says the ages are 10 to 14. Would you confirm or deny?
Confirm. I would say 10 and up. I would actually say if you are, how old is your daughter?
She is 7.
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to say this right now. She's 7, but she's 7 going on 27 mentally. I'm just going to tell you that. His daughter actually just premiered in the new show on Netflix called The Chair with oh my gosh, who's the main actress? I just saw that like 2 nights ago. Is she her daughter? Yes, that's correct.
She's a cutie pie, your daughter.
Well, thank you.
Well, damn, have her read the book. No, it may be a little old. Listen, no, I'm teasing. I think The Infinity Year of Avalon James would be a perfect book for her age. Okay. I would, if you did read Not a Unicorn, I would, it is a little older, and it's 8th grade. So it's a little more mature.
Here's what Paul and Jamie can do. Paul and Jamie you guys can order it, and then you guys can read it. And then once you guys feel that it's appropriate for Everly, then you can share it with her.
There you go.
Or she could bring it to the set and read it on camera while her mother's doing. So that would be perfect. That would be ideal. Nope, I have no problem with that. I give you full permission for that to happen.
Okay. Got The Infinity Year of Avalon James in my cart. Here we go.
Great. And then next thing you know, we've got a whole bunch of 7-year-olds throughout the country. That's okay.
I'm traumatized by this book.
Yes, it is coming out soon. As a matter of fact, should I do this now? I think I'm going to, what? Go ahead, Dana.
Could I just say, if anyone is interested in it, let me just have a little shout out for the situation here.
Please.
Situation. And maybe I will put this in the comments. We're going to have a virtual event on September 21st, which is the pub date at Once Upon a Time Bookstore, but it will be on Zoom with Jill Diamond, who's a friend of mine, who's a writer, wonderful writer. And we're going to do, it'll be just a fun launch event where we're also going to do bingo. You will be sent your own bingo card, and we're going to have prizes, and it's going to be fun. I'm really excited.
My gosh. Well, Dana, here's what I'm going to do. Regardless, after we do this, I will put, if you're not watching this on the live thing, that's okay. On the replay, Dana, give me that information. I'm going to put it down in the comments, because that's coming on. When is that event? When's that event happening?
September 21st at 6 p.m. All you have to do is register. So we'll put a little registration thing. So You'll get the Zoom link. And if you would like a signed copy of the book, you can do that also through Once Upon a Time. In the comment section, you can say how you want it to be inscribed, and you can pre-order. Pre-orders are so important, especially for local bookstores or independent bookstores. And so Once Upon a Time is the oldest children's bookstore in the country. And it is in Montrose, California, which is right north of us in LA. And it's great. And especially after this year, I say, please support the local bookstores.
Amen. And Duncan's super happy about it too. He's screaming in the background right now.
Hey,
here's the cool thing that we are going to do. What we are going to do right now, I haven't preloaded any game like I did last time. We're going to figure it out on the fly as we do this. What's going to happen is one of our live viewers right now is actually going to receive a pre-order copy, and I'm going to make sure that they actually get a signed copy from Dana, because what we're going to do is we're going to have a little game in a second. Dana and Paul, you guys start thinking as I describe what this is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what our contest is going to be right now. We're going to make it up on the fly. Okay. But if you're a live person right now, we're going to ask you something in the chat. And if you get this, hi, Holly, good to see you. Holly says, nerds unite. If you right on, sister. And a big shout out again to Holly and Charity. They've joined me a number of times on the live stream for the Kevin Gregg show. Always appreciate you being here, guys. You rock. Along with the rest of our people that are here for your creative journey tonight. If you get the answer to this question, I will personally be sending you a signed copy by Dana that I'm going to be pre-ordering and sending to you.
Thanks.
So let's improv, you two. What do you think we should do? What sort of question would we ask? And then we have to make sure that I've got 10 people 10 people could be in the running for this right now, maybe more. But what we're going to do is we're going to ask them whatever it is. They're going to have to write it in the comments. So here's the interesting thing. We're going to say this. And then of course, the way that we're doing this live stream, there's like a 7-second delay or whatever. So we're going to say this, there's going to be like a 7-second delay. What do you think the question should be? We're not asking it right now, so don't write until we tell you what to do. Dana, do you have an idea what the question is, or is it?
I do. Since we're doing middle grade books, we could ask.
Now, don't get too complicated. Don't get too complicated.
So if nobody answers it, we can do another one.
Oh, great!
That's so true.
Great. Okay. Because last time, man, you asked like a high level question, but that's okay. I say it's about stretching people. I forget what it was, but it was just like I don't even know if I know that.
Got this. Hold on.
Okay, hold on.
I have a question that I have to double check that of course I know it. Never mind.
As long as it doesn't deal with like early 20th century, who is a popular French writer in early 20th century?
Oh gosh, that's what I was going to say.
What, Dana, what's your thought? What's your question? Now we're not asking this question.
Okay. I was going to say, let's, for those people who may be on here who read books growing up, we could ask a couple of those kind of questions.
Okay. Well, then let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. See what happens.
So in Roald Dahl's classic Matilda.
Okay. So this is the classic Roald Dahl Matilda. Okay. Okay. Perfect.
What?
Yes.
Appendix.
What is Matilda's last name?
What is Matilda's last name from Roald Dahl's Matilda? What is Matilda's last name? If you know the answer, not you, Paul.
Appendix.
Right. Not appendix. Laurie Burzon said Tom Selleck. Hold on. What is Matilda's last name? And here's the funny thing. We're actually on the internet. So, everybody's like, everybody's cruising through Wikipedia. You can still answer if you have the answer.
What is we could do a different.
Well, hold on. I'm going to see, because now we're on a delay, because somebody's probably going to answer this right now. What is Matilda's last name from the classic children's story, Matilda?
Smith-Pendix.
It's not Smith-Pendix. It's
very close.
We're waiting. I'm waiting to see if anybody has the answer right there. Oh, aha. Charity Swanson said Wormwood.
Charity wins.
Charity. That was Final Fantasy, wasn't it?
Wow, nerd.
Wow.
I know that because of my kids. So There you go.
Right.
It's a video game.
Right.
Charity, congratulations, my friend. Charity, you have won a signed copy that I'm going to send to you. I think Charity's out in Utah too, so it's going to be awesome. Charity, do me a favor. Lori said Master Antonio. What do you think that's from? What's Master Antonio? Does anybody know?
It's from she's an actress, Elizabeth Mastrantonio.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I love it.
Mastrantonio is Elizabeth's sister.
Very good. I love it. Charity, do me a favor. Can you please send me one of two things? You can either send me, I think that you have my direct message stuff on Facebook, or you can, yes, Nerds Unite again. Holly's giving you a big clap for winning that. Either do that, or Charity, you can reach out to me at kevin@kevingregg.com, and I'll make sure that I get your mailing information. Okay, so I can send that to you. Congratulations, Charity. You're going to get a signed copy. Dana, help me out on this. It's probably going to come out a little bit later, right? Because that's sort of like a pre-order situation too.
Yeah, pre-order now is coming out on the 21st of September. So it will not land anywhere. You will not be able to get it till the 20th. So it's a little, Charity, be patient.
Yeah, be patient, because it's expected on the 21st of September or later. Okay, but you and I will be in contact, Charity. So she always reaches out. Thank you all so much for always being an amazing fan. So here's my question to you, Dana. Well, I'm not going to ask you that one. I'm going to back off on that one. For goodness, I was about to do something where I said, no, I'm not going to say that.
Ask me this. How's it to work with Kate?
Say it one more time, please.
How's it to work with Kate?
How's it to work with? Yes. Okay. I thought you were asking me for a second. Dana, I'll tell you, she's a slave driver. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. Dana, how is it working with Kate Mclaughlin?
Let me tell you, Kevin, it's no.
Seriously, can we talk about this for a second? Or
no,
what?
It's really, let me say, it's really great. No. Can I tell you why? Is because this is a great thing. If you're going to ever have a writing partner, is to have to find someone who you adore. That's really important, who you love, and who you can really be honest with and say all the bad words with and to.
I hear them. I hear them on the Zoom calls.
With and to. Be like,
with and to.
Yeah, like, just like no pussyfooting around. But who compliments you, right? Because we're good at different things.
Yeah. And
that's really fun. I mean, if we were good at the same things, that would be a bit boring.
Yes.
And she's out, your wife's out there. She comes up with one, she's highly creative and brings things to the table. Sometimes I'm like, what do we, but often I'm just like, oh my God, how'd you think of that? So it's really fun. It's really interesting. I
love seeing Kate and Dana work together. I mean, the two of them, talk about just like they're so when they gel, man, like they're going, and to just see, I can only talk about the stuff that I see on my side, but the spark and the creativity. I've always said this with Kate, right? Because I've known her, even doing her acting and all this stuff. I always said this, man, with Kate's talent and my drive, we'd be millionaires, right? She's the more talented of the two of us.
But wait, who does she call me? What does she call me?
Oh yeah. Go. Well, you say it. Go ahead.
I mean, it's like, we are married. I am married. We are the same. We are the same. And our spouse, Kate and Kevin and I are married to the same person, and vice versa.
Pretty much. Dana and I are basically like the same version of each other. And like, if you can imagine Pete Atkins has been on the show, like there's versions of Kate, like I'm serious. It's weird. It's crazy. Right. But just seeing the two of you guys work, it's so amazing, and be able to see like Kate roll up her sleeves and get the stuff done, and seeing some of the stuff that you guys have been working on. I'm just so excited about what the future lies. I mean, especially Dana, come on, with your talent, with the stuff that Kate's been doing too, and the two of you guys working together, it's amazing. I can't wait until we get you guys both here on the show.
Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be wonderful?
I've been wondering why we haven't had Kate on the show.
I keep her locked away.
I don't know if Paul, I'm not sure. That could be scary.
Well, here's the thing, man. Kate, listen, man, Kate calls it like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're here to hear first. Locked away. Sheesh.
Well, I let her have meals.
Come in and kick your ass, and that's all. Just look out.
horrible.
Here's the hard part, man, is that I don't know if Steve Erdeman's coming back to help us edit. I don't know if he's going to have to take all the shows from the main Zoom thing. We're going to have to figure out how to get those sound effects in. Okay. Here's the thing, Dana, I don't know if you remember this or not, but years ago, we're all Survivor fans, right? In our like Dana, Kate, myself. Was Pete ever into it? I mean,
by default.
Right, by default.
Yeah, we have one TV.
When we first started watching Survivor, oh my gosh, man, like Kate and Dana would get on the phone every single day. I'm telling you, man, I would have been a millionaire, man. I was trying to, back in the early 2000s, I was trying to figure out how to tape their phone calls.
You mean to do a podcast?
Because I wanted it to be a podcast, because the two of them, they would get on and I'm telling you, man, it's the same stuff that you're seeing on like Bravo or Walking Dead. These two gals were doing this back with Survivor years ago. So anyway, they're excellent. I can't wait to have you guys on as guests together. So,
fingers crossed, we'll have something good to talk about.
We might have to do. I don't know if Kate will ever go for it. I mean, we could do we could. No. I'm saying. Well, I was just hypothesizing if we had a standalone episode here on your creative journey with Kate. I don't know what would happen, Paul. You'd have to you'd have to guide it, man, because
you'd have to let her out first.
Yeah, you'd have to let her out first. There is that. Paul.
Guys, I think it's the other way. I think she keeps me locked away.
I know.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Kevin, I told Kevin we should have my daughter on the show, and he was like, no. And then I'm like, we should have your wife on the show, and he was like, mm-mm. And I'm like, okay, then you just tell me who's going to be on the show, Kevin.
I think you should have his daughter on the show. I
want your daughter on the show. Are you ready? Let's do this.
Time I've heard that.
Well, listen, now that you've had this stuff, I just need her. I need to make sure she had more credits. She's a pro. She is a pro for sure.
And she's Paul? seven. Wow.
Paul, you ready to do that? If we're ready to have her on the show.
Does she like Sandra Oh? Now we want to know, does she like Sandra Oh?
Oh yeah. Yeah. She's been very lucky. She did a movie before this for Netflix in March called Yes Day. Well, it came out in March. Yeah. So, and she worked with Jennifer Garner was her mother in that movie. And now Sandra Oh is her mother in this series. Like she's worked with some very talented and nurturing and very, very sweet people in all the projects she's done.
But isn't that great? Because that's the only way to do it.
Absolutely.
Paul, am I jumping the gun on this, man? I mean, I know that they mentioned that they're going to do a Yes Day sequel. I don't know. Have you heard, or what's going on for you? Or can you talk about it or no? Or you don't even know yet?
I heard in the news that it's happening, right. And I don't know if I am even supposed to say it, but like originally they were talking about it being like
like a series of things, so, right? Like after school specials, right?
Basically. No. So I don't know. Last we heard like from the actual team was they were talking about it, and then the next thing we saw was it in the news that it was happening. So
it's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad she's in a grounded family.
She sure is. You kidding?
Meaning you, Paul.
Oh.
I don't mean the TV family. I mean the real family.
She doesn't know us, does she?
What?
Here's what I'm gonna put out to our viewers and our listeners. Okay, so this is it. So listen, it's now out of my control, and as a matter of fact, I'm stacking the deck on this. Okay, Dana, I'm sorry to steer this way for you. Oh. If you'd like to see Paul's daughter Everly on the show, just give us a yes or give us a thumbs up right now. And if we see that showing up in the comments, then it's happening. So I'm already stacking the deck because I think it's going to be a couple of weeks from now anyway. So Paul, we're going to have to figure out what this is. Now you're going to have to tell me what's going to be a nice, I'm sorry, Dean, I'm completely detracting from you here. I'm so sorry.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Well, this is the whole thing, Dana, when you see her on the show, you're going to realize like, oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
This kid absolutely should be reading these things. All right. Well, Dana's got a yes. All right. Looks like, okay. All right. Yes, Kate. Yes, Everly. Yes. Okay. That's it. All right, Paul. A couple episodes from now, we're doing it. We've got Jason Palmer coming on the next one, and you guys have got to go on vacation. I'm not going to say anything about that. Ugh. Do you want to talk about it or no?
Well, we hear the mayor's ready to shut down the state of Hawaii, so who knows if it's
We
gonna
Oh,
know
you
be.
were going to Hawaii. Oh, geez.
We know who's going too, man. My son Luke and his wife, my daughter-in-law, they're getting ready to go celebrate their anniversary. They've been married a few years now. They're getting ready to go to Hawaii
And they're
around the
shutting
same.
down Hawaii. I missed it. I missed this.
Well, this happened last time. Paul, correct me where I'm wrong, but like, Hawaii with their COVID restrictions, especially last year, they got very specific with tourists that were coming in. Like people that were coming in, they were basically like locking them down for 14 days in their hotel rooms, and they're pretty serious. So are you hearing more stuff about this, Paul, or?
Yeah, well, I guess just this morning, the mayor of Maui, or is it mayor of Maui?
I don't
Each
know.
island has their own mayor or something, was talking about like putting down tougher travel restrictions starting very soon, and we leave like next Friday. So it's
Oh, wow. Well, go for, oh, geez.
Well,
You know what
let's
though? Can I just say one thing? Not to detract from what you were saying,
Sure.
but because I hope you go and I hope it's great and I hope you do not have any issues. But if you're going to be a mayor, be the mayor of Maui.
yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Right?
Mayor
If
of
you're
Maui.
going to be a mayor, that's all I got to say.
Have never gone, guys. Have never gone to Hawaii.
I haven't been to Maui. I've been to Kauai into the Ohio.
Have never been to Hawaii.
Oahu, not Ohio.
Ohio, the island of Ohio.
The island of
Very
Ohio.
tropical.
It was an
I would-
excellent island.
I would
And
love
Molokai.
Paul, can you talk? I mean, because I'm not going to see until after you guys are back. Do you mind talking a little bit about your vacation? What do you guys have planned?
Yeah, well, we're excited. Jamie and I, we went for our honeymoon. We went for our 1 year anniversary to Maui both times. And then since then, we've only gone to Kauai. We just love Hawaii. It's just, I mean, who
Beautiful.
doesn't? Who doesn't? And so we're really excited. This is the first time we're taking the kids on a flight anywhere. And we were going to take the kids to experience Maui. And now it's all just like, oh my gosh, are we going to be able to go?
Okay.
So
Let's hope for the best. Let's hope for the best. Okay. God willing, it'll all work out. I'll tell you what has absolutely worked out today has been this interview with Dana. Dana, I love you dearly. I'm so glad that you're on the show. I hope it was a good experience for you.
Of course, it was
There's a little stall. Did you hear that, guys? Did you hear that? There was a little.
It's wonderful.
She's like,
I love
"Well,
seeing
we've
you
been
guys.
talking
Thank you
about-"
so much for having me. And listen, the book's coming out soon, and so obviously I have to promote and do all those things you're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
So I really appreciate you having me on to do that because I'm all joking aside, this book means an awful lot to me, and I am very excited about people, especially kids, but all people reading it. And I think that a lot of people don't give young people's literature a chance. And I think if people, even adults, give it a try, find something that you like, read it with your kids, because there's so much great stuff out there that you will be moved and surprised by and excited by, that you just, it's just amazing the stuff that's written for kids these days.
I'll tell you what, a great way to try this out is by checking out Dana Middleton's books. Not only Not a Unicorn, that's coming out in late September, but go back and take a look at her other books. Open If You Dare, The Infinity Year of Avalon James. Such good stuff. Dana, where would people go to find you on the line?
DanaMiddletonBooks.com.
DanaMiddletonBooks.com.
Twitter, Dana K. Middleton, the K. I have an author page, Dana Middleton, on Facebook, and Dana Middleton Books, I think, on Instagram.
I'll tell you where you can check it out if you're here on
something
YouTube.
like that.
You can check it out in the description of this video, and I think I've got a couple of as Paul puts on the glasses again. You'll actually find it down in the description right there. Dana, love you dearly. Congratulations on the book. Continue onward and upward, sister.
Love you, Kev. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dana. Such a pleasure always.
Our pleasure. Thank you to everyone that joined us here tonight. Congratulations to Charity for winning that book. It's going to be coming your way. Paul, what's the best way that people can support us here on your creative journey?
Well, the best way is to send money. I'm
that could. I'll take it. I will take it.
a positive review wherever you consume your podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Just give that thumbs up or the 5-star rating. We appreciate it so much. It helps people like you that are looking for shows like this find shows like this.
Absolutely. If you're watching this on YouTube, a great way to help us out as well is to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because we're on a new channel, and also the notification bell so you can find out when other episodes of your creative journey are coming up. We're on a new channel here on YouTube, but the more that you do it, as a matter of fact, if you can help me out here on this channel, I'm trying to build it up. So the more people I can get, I can start like manipulating the URL. So it's a little bit more of an easier URL for people to do. So if it's your first time here and you haven't been here for a while, hit the subscribe button. It definitely helps. You can actually donate to the show if you want to. If you go to yourcreativejourneypodcast.com, there's a little button that's on there. It's called Buy Me a Coffee. And if you donate to the show, then that helps to offset server costs and all that other stuff. Big shout out to our crew that helps us out. We've got the Your Creative Journey social media team that helps us out. Big shout out to Christina and Dari and Heather and all the team that's over there. And also welcome back Steve Erdeman, who's going to be helping us with editing the audio podcast, brother. Of course, great. He'll have to grab that one off the Zoom audio. So, okay, great. I just got him back, Paul, and you've already made it as complicated as possible. It's okay.
Wait till he hears my cell phone.
Good stuff. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us on the show. We appreciate you. We're so grateful for you. And we're going to be back in a few weeks after Paul gets back from vacation. I think we got you.
After Paul gets back from quarantine.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding. It was just said, no. Great. Don't let your tears fog up your glasses.
We'll have Jason Palmer joining us in a few weeks. He wasn't able to join us this week. And then a couple of weeks after that, it looks like we're having Everly Carganilla join us. I can't wait for what that episode is. All right. It's going to be good. All right, gang. That is it. Paul, help me out on this. I'm going to be a little bit technical for a second. I got so freaked out like a couple of weeks ago when I ended it. If I end, sorry guys, you get to see the back behind the stage stuff that we do.
The backside of water.
The backside of water. If I end the YouTube stream, it's good, right? They're still going to get our stuff. Or should I end the Zoom call? I like freaked out last time when I like ended the Zoom call. I went, oh, have I cut off the whole show?
No, click that blue button to end the YouTube stream.
Okay. And then we'll
call continues.
Okay. Well, then that's all right. Very good, everyone. I'm going to end our stream. God bless you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye, gang.
Bye.